Hey people, what is up? Live 12.3 just dropped. I'm excited. I hope you're excited because we're going to make some tech house. And instead of doing the typical overplayed cheesy splice vocal, I wanted to do just something kind of stupid. So I just dug around on the internet until I found this old meme video.
You cannot pet that dog.
No.
Cannot pet that dog.
You
Cannot pet that dog.
And flipped it into a little something like this.
Cannot pet that.
And of course, if you'd like to grab this project file so you can follow along, it's on my Ko-fi. And other than that, let's go. BPM 129 today. And we are still in Phrygian mode. So if you saw my last video on Cyberpunk, I think I'm still feeling that kind of darkness. This is also a great mode for tech house as well. So I'm going to start with a kick. So I have this one loaded up. Very, very punchy. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that and Control D it across. So it's 4 bars. And I think just to switch it up here, I'm going to add one more kick in the middle here. Just something like that. Next, I want to focus on the bass because that is going to be the driving force of this song. So I have Vital loaded up here and literally just a saw wave. And I'm going to tell you a huge secret. Like, come here. Like 99% of EDM sounds are made from a saw wave. Shh, don't tell anyone. Saw wave, yeah. So we just have a really plucky envelope and it is attached to the filter down here. And for effects, really not a whole lot going on. I have some chorus and multiband compression. So it sounds something like this. Let me take it down an octave. Just like that. And I also have roar loaded on here. So a little bit of saturation. And I'm using the polynomial shaper, which I use like all the time for basses. And what I've done is I came in here to the envelope. If you open the modulation tab in roar, come into the matrix and I've linked it to this amount here. So you can see that's just reacting to the sound envelope and just giving it some really, really nice grit. Okay, so let's take a listen to this bass pattern that I created. So if I take a little bit closer look at this, we can see most of the notes are hanging out here on the root note, which is G. And we're not moving a whole lot. We're not doing a lot of crazy octave jumps. We're not doing a whole lot of, up and down the scale. It's very, very minimal movement. And a lot of what is making this bouncy is the rhythm. And that is probably more important than the notes. So what I like to do is I start off on the 16th grid. And that's a really great starting point if you're not super familiar with adding different types of rhythms. So you can see most of these, some of them are on the 1, which is totally fine. But I do like to have most of the notes kind of in between. So we're always going to have that kick drum on every quarter note. So it'd be here, 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 here. And you're going to have these notes kind of playing off the kick drum. So if I play it with the kick drum together, you can hear that they're working really well together. They're not fighting each other for space because they have those gaps. They have that breathing room. And I am still going to sidechain the bass. It's not going to be a huge amount. So I'm just going to open up this compressor here and put the kick as the sidechain trigger. So just a little bit, just to make sure it doesn't get muddy. Next, I went ahead and grabbed this open hi-hat, and this is playing on the off beat, so the and of every beat. Next, I grabbed another hi-hat loop, and I really love just kind of chopping things and splicing it back together so it fits whatever rhythm I have in my track. So I have this. And you can hear a lot of that little, like those kind of almost ghost notes happening in the background, and that's adding a lot of rhythm. But wait, there's more hi-hats. I have this in a drum rack, and I just kind of added it in between. So a lot of times what I'll do is I'll find these spots. So I like to zoom in pretty close, just like this. And MIDI, someone asked me if I like to use audio or MIDI, and honestly, I do both, depending. You can see I have both right here. It just depends on my workflow. But when I'm doing something like this, it's easier for me to just use MIDI and pencil it in because I'm looking for these gaps. So if I'm looking at this and this, I'm kind of looking to see where there is not a whole lot happening, and I'm adding little hits in that way. So the last things to kind of finish off these drums, I wanted to add something that's going to play not all the time, but like every once in a while. So I added this snare, which sounds like this. And I just got a little bit of EQ and some auto pan, so it's going back and forth between the speakers or headphones, whatever. And I just made this little pattern that sounds like this. Just kind of a fun little, bouncy rhythm. And to go along with that, I also added this little perk sound. And really the point of adding these things is we're kind of getting this call and response between the drums, which is a really cool thing. And also it's just making the drums more interesting. Okay, so let's move on to some synths. Synths. I need more coffee. So I grabbed Wavetable. So this is just basically a triangle wave, kind of a pad type envelope. I changed it to mono instead of poly, so that way we're only playing one note at a time. And they are overlapped, and I have that glide on, so that's what's creating that kind of sliding between the notes. So next we have amp. And let me turn the volume down so I don't deafen anyone. That really, really adds some nice distortion and grit to that sound. And next, I'm using the new Autopan Tremolo to shape this sound. So it's actually hitting kind of with that offbeat hi-hat. So what I did to do that is I just turned it onto the tremolo, set the rate to 1/4, and then swapped this. So this is what you're going to get normally, which is kind of a cool sound too. But if you hit this, it's just going to reverse it. So now we're going to have this. And then we just have some EQ cutting out all of the lows, an auto filter, which is going to be great to automate during the actual track, and some hybrid reverb as well, just to soften it up and make it a little more atmospheric. So after I had those main elements, that's when I started arranging. And when I arrange, I kind of figure out things that I need to add. So you'll see there's a lot of stuff that got added here. So all of our drums are in blue. I have just some simple like crash here. I've got some risers. And other than that, we've got all the vocals up here. So I went ahead and grabbed that vocal from the video off YouTube and warped it. After I threw it into Ableton Live Stem Splitter, just to remove all the background noise, warped it and then played around with some of the kind of the formants here. So some of them, like that one is dropped down to 75. It still sounds pretty much like the original. This one, I have it all the way at 0. And it just kind of makes it sound a little bit deeper. And I just kind of played with those throughout just to kind of give each one a little bit different flavor. So most of these vocals don't have much added to them, just a little bit of reverb. This one in particular, you can hear that delay just kind of swelling. And so what I did was I just created an audio effect rack on this track in particular. So all you have to do that is just add a delay, Control G to group it, and it'll put it in an effect rack. And then you can right click inside here to create a new chain. And that's what this is. This is just the dry vocal with nothing on it. And then you just dial this up to 100%. But what's happening here with the feedback is that you can freeze it. This isn't an option with echo, but it is with delay. So for this buildup before the drop, all I did was I have it automated so that the freeze comes on here. And then also the volume of the delay is also creeping up before it hits the drop. So all together, we got a little snare roll down here. Eraser.
Now play that.
And that is something that's new as well. I made these little stabs in Vital, a little bit of FM. It's really not a fancy patch at all. So if I take off all the effects, that's it. And then I'm just adding drum bus to fatten it up, EQ, compression, and then Valhalla's Supermassive to make it just kind of spaced out. And this is the same exact one, just brought down an octave lower. And those just hit kind of in the drop section. And one of the last major things that I made for this track is this vocal riser.
Now play that.
So all I did was just grab a snippet of the vocal. I just sang dog, and then dropped it onto a MIDI track. So let's just grab it and put it here. And then right click. So this changes it to a sampler. And then it sounds like this. And then I just went into the middle of this because I'm looking for just kind of a flat pitch. So I don't really want it changing pitch on me. So I came into the middle here. And then change the sustain mode to loop it. So we're just having it start here. And then you can crossfade it so it's a little less like glitchy. And then I'm just playing middle C. I have a tuner on here. So it's saying that note is like close to an A. And so I just drug this up to a 3. So now when I play it, it's actually playing a C. I'm like OCD about this stuff, so I want it to be like pretty close. You don't need to get this stupid about it. But anyway, just play that. So I have these notes put in here, and it's just a D and G. Beautiful. Put on Valhalla's Supermassive on a huge reverb. And then turn that off. All I did was Control B, bounced it, which is amazing that we can do that now. And then pretty much just faded this in. And then I had it sliding up in pitch, so we can just come in here to the waveform, come to the envelope section, and come to clip, transposition right here. And I don't even know where I put it, somewhere around here. And then come to the end, and you can pull it up about 12 semitones. And then make sure it's changed to complex so it doesn't sound like shit. There we go. And there, you have your own cool vocal riser that's using stuff from already inside your project. And if you want to dive deeper into the arrangement and all the automation happening in here, you can of course grab the project file. Link to that is down in the description below, as well as if you want to stream it, link to that is in the description below too. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful holiday, and I will see you in the next video.